The first time you notice it, it feels almost irrational. Your dog has met this person before. They've never barked at them, never avoided them, never acted nervous around them. And then one evening, something changes. Maybe it happens quietly. Your dog suddenly refuses to approach someone they used to greet happily. Maybe they stand unusually close to your legs during conversation. Maybe their ears shift backward, their posture stiffens. Their eyes never fully leave the stranger standing in your kitchen. Or maybe it's stronger than that. A low growl, a sharp bark, refusal to let someone near you. Most people laugh it off. He's just being protective. She probably smells another dog. Dogs are weird sometimes, but behavioral neuroscience tells a completely different story. Because what your dog may be detecting in that moment is not magic, and not some supernatural ability to sense evil. It's something both more scientific and, honestly, much more unsettling. What your dog is doing right now may be one of the most advanced social evaluation systems ever observed between two different species, and most owners have absolutely no idea. Let's start with the obvious theory, because honestly it sounds reasonable. Dogs react to appearances, big people, deep voices, hats, beards, fast movement, simple. And yes, visual unfamiliarity absolutely affects canine behavior. Dogs rely heavily on pattern recognition. Someone walking differently, smelling unfamiliar, moving unpredictably, can instantly trigger caution. But here's the problem. That explanation falls apart surprisingly fast. Because dogs often distrust certain individuals, even when those people look completely normal. No threatening posture, no loud behavior, no obvious danger. Meanwhile, they may instantly trust someone else they've never met before. So what exactly are they responding to? And this is where dog psychology becomes incredibly deep. Because dogs are not simply observing human appearance. They are constantly studying emotional consistency, tone shifts, micro-expressions, stress chemistry, body tension, social behavior, intentionality. Your dog isn't evaluating people the way humans do. They're evaluating nervous systems. And once you understand that, a lot of random canine reactions stop feeling random at all. One of the most important studies ever conducted on this came from Kyoto University in 2015. Researchers wanted to know whether dogs could judge human trustworthiness through observation alone, not direct interaction, observation. The experiment was simple. A dog owner tried opening a container and then asked another person for help. In some cases, the person helped. In other cases, the person refused. Then, afterward, both individuals offered food to the dog, and what they found was extraordinary. Dogs consistently avoided taking food from people who had refused to help their owner. Even though the dog received no direct threat, no punishment, no aggression, no mistreatment, the dogs were socially evaluating human behavior towards someone they trusted. Think about that for a second. Your dog was watching how somebody treated you and forming judgments based on it. And this is where it gets deep. Because this behavior closely mirrors something seen in human infants. Developmental psychologists call it social referencing. Children observe how trusted individuals react to others before deciding whether someone feels safe. Dogs appear to do something remarkably similar, which means when your dog becomes uncomfortable around somebody who treats you poorly, they may not be overreacting. They may be performing one of the most fundamental behaviors in attachment psychology, protective social evaluation. They're not saying, "I hate this person." They're saying, "My nervous system does not trust the emotional patterns I'm observing." And honestly, dogs are unbelievably good at reading those patterns. Researchers at Eötvös Loránd University in Hungary discovered dogs process human emotional tone using brain regions strikingly similar to humans, meaning dogs are not only hearing your words, they're decoding emotional intent. That fake laugh you force around someone you dislike, your dog notices. The subtle tension in your shoulders? They notice that too. Changes in breathing, facial stiffness, forced calmness, raised cortisol levels. Dogs are constantly collecting information humans ignore. And here's something fascinating. Your dog may actually trust your unconscious reactions more than your conscious behavior. You can smile politely at someone while your nervous system quietly feels unsafe. Your dog often responds to the nervous system first, which explains why dogs sometimes distrust people before humans consciously recognize something is wrong themselves. And no, that does not mean dogs are magical lie detectors. Dogs can absolutely dislike good people sometimes. Trauma history, poor socialization, fear responses, specific scents or movements, all of those matter. But behavioral research strongly suggests dogs are exceptionally skilled at detecting inconsistency between appearance and emotional state. And humans leak emotional information constantly. But here's where it gets really interesting. Because this isn't just psychology, it's chemistry. Dogs experience the world primarily through scent, and their sense of smell is so extreme that human beings can barely comprehend it. Researchers estimate dogs possess up to 300 million olfactory receptors. Humans have roughly 6 million. The canine brain also dedicates vastly more processing power to smell interpretation than ours does. Which means your dog may literally smell emotional changes happening inside the human body. Stress hormones, adrenaline, cortisol fluctuations, fear-related chemical changes. In a 2018 study from the University of Naples Federico II, researchers found dogs could differentiate emotional states through human sweat samples alone. Not facial expressions, not voices, scent, and what they found shocked scientists. Dogs exposed to fear sweat showed elevated heart rates and stress behaviors even without seeing the humans involved. Their nervous systems reacted biologically to chemically transmitted emotional states. Now think about what happens when someone enters your home carrying aggression, hostility, fear, anger, deception-related stress, even while pretending everything is normal socially. Your dog may detect physiological information your conscious brain completely misses. And this is where domestication becomes extraordinary. Because wolves raised by humans do not consistently show the same hypersensitivity to human emotional cues. This only happens at this intensity in domesticated dogs, meaning this emotional detection system specifically co-evolved between dogs and humans over thousands of years. Your dog's brain was literally shaped to monitor human emotional stability. Not because it's cute, because survival depended on it. So when did this start? The answer is basically from the beginning. Roughly 15,000 years ago, long before City A's agriculture or written language, certain wolves began approaching early human campsites. Not the aggressive wolves, the calmer ones, the socially observant ones. The wolves capable of reading human behavior gained access to food, warmth, and protection. Over generations, humans unintentionally selected for emotional intelligence. Dogs evolved to study us, predict us, synchronize with us. And archaeological evidence shows this bond became deeply emotional astonishingly early. At Bonn-Oberkassel in Germany, archaeologists discovered a 14,000-year-old human burial site containing a dog buried alongside 2 humans. But here's the remarkable part. Researchers found evidence the dog had survived severe illness as a puppy, meaning humans cared for that animal for weeks or months, despite receiving no practical survival benefit in return. These weren't just working animals, they were family. Modern genetic studies from Princeton University and other institutions later identified genetic variations associated with hypersocial attachment in domestic dogs. Some researchers even compare parts of canine social genetics to Williams syndrome in humans, a condition associated with unusually heightened social bonding behavior. Your dog isn't doing something unusual. They're doing something selected for across 15 millennia. Now, I want to tell you about a study that nobody talks about because the finding seems impossible at first. Researchers studying canine stress synchronization discovered something strange. Dogs living with chronically stressed owners often showed elevated cortisol levels themselves, even when the stress had nothing to do with the dog directly. How is that possible? Because bonded dogs appear to absorb emotional environments neurologically. Your emotional atmosphere becomes part of their biological world. And this creates a fascinating paradox. Sometimes dogs react negatively to people, not because those people are objectively dangerous, but because your own nervous system changes around them. Maybe your dog isn't judging character in some mystical way. Maybe they're detecting emotional instability inside the social environment. And honestly, that may be even more profound, because it means your dog has been quietly studying your emotional safety this entire time. And recent studies from 2023 and 2024 examining canine-human synchronizations discovered something extraordinary. Researchers measuring heart rate variability, HRV, found bonded dogs and owners frequently displayed synchronized stress patterns during interaction. Their nervous systems were literally influencing each other. But this only happened within bonded pairs. Strangers showed no meaningful synchronization. This only happens when genuine emotional attachment exists. Think about that for a second. Your anxiety affects your dog biologically. Your calm affects them too, which means when someone enters your environment and changes your emotional state, your dog may experience part of that shift, physiologically themselves. Your dog isn't simply watching social situations unfold. They may actually be feeling your stress patterns in real time. And this is where it becomes profound. Maybe your dog never needed to understand human morality. Maybe they just became extraordinarily good at recognizing when a trusted human no longer feels emotionally safe. There's one last thing I need to tell you, and honestly, it might be the most important part of this video. If your dog suddenly becomes fearful, reactive, or distrustful toward everyone, don't automatically assume they're reading bad people. Sometimes sudden behavioral changes have nothing to do with strangers at all. Pain, vision loss, neurological conditions, hearing decline, and anxiety disorders. Research estimates canine cognitive dysfunction affects nearly 35% of dogs over age 13. And behavioral changes are often among the earliest signs. A dog in pain may suddenly growl when approached. A dog losing hearing may startle easily. An anxious dog may become hypervigilant around unfamiliar people. Your dog doesn't have language. Behavior is how they communicate physical and emotional distress. So if their social reactions suddenly change dramatically, pay attention. Because sometimes the problem isn't the stranger. Sometimes your dog is trying to tell you something about themselves. So the next time your dog suddenly stiffens around someone or quietly places themselves between you and another person, remember what may actually be happening. 15,000 years of evolution. A nervous system designed to study human emotion. An attachment bond powerful enough to synchronize stress biology between species, and a living creature whose survival once depended on recognizing which humans felt emotionally safe, and which ones didn't. Because your dog may not understand human morality, but they understand emotional truth far better than most people realize. If this changed how you see your dog, subscribe to the channel and leave a comment below. I want to know, has your dog ever disliked someone before you realized something felt wrong too? And if you want to understand why dogs stare at humans while they sleep, the psychology behind that behavior is even stranger than you think.